I don't know if any of you are runners, people who run, go on marathons and stuff like that. I'm not a runner, but I tried to be one when I was in college, and I failed terribly. But so during my time in college, I signed up for a half marathon, Austin's half marathon. And so during that time, I learned a little bit about what it takes to kind of run a race like this. And so basically, there's a schedule that you kind of start, a running schedule that you start a couple months before the race, where you're running about 4 to 5 times a week, 6 times a week. Some days you rest, and you're increasing your mileage. Kind of every week, a mile or two, as you kind of start getting closer to the race. And then about like a week before the race or something like that, you actually end up running almost a full distance of the race you're about to do. So if you're going to do a marathon, you almost run kind of the full marathon just before the race. Maybe there's like a couple miles you don't do, but just kind of the training intensifies as you get ready to begin the race when it's just like a week away or something like that, because you want to make sure that once you make it to the race, you're actually going to finish, right? So you intensify the training a little bit as you get closer. Well, I would say there's a little bit of a parallel about this reality of running a marathon, and all of you catechumens who are here today. You've been preparing for a while now, learning about the faith, and now you're getting closer, in a sense, to entering this race, right, of following Jesus for the rest of your life. This beautiful race that's also sometimes difficult. And so as you get closer to entering this race, right, in a sense where the training intensifies. And so we do these things called scrutinies. I know you did one last Sunday, and this is the second one. There'll be a third one next Sunday. And basically, there's like this prayer that the priest does for you, and that the congregation joins in praying in their hearts for you as well, in a sense to give you this grace. And then you pray also for yourselves, right? You kind of intensify this prayer that you be ready to begin this race and finish this race you're about to enter, that you remain being a faithful follower of Jesus till the end of your life. Right? Just like it's really not fun when you enter this kind of actual race marathon and then you can't finish, you don't get like the medal at the end. There's something similar, like it could happen perhaps that we start this race of following Jesus, and then a couple years later kind of drop the towel. We're like, oh yeah, I don't know, right? That's sad. We don't want that to happen, right? And so this is part of what these scrutinies are about, right? Is you praying for this special grace that you enter this race and finish it, and us praying for you as well. Really, really beautiful thing. Now for the rest of all of y'all who already been baptized, you have already begun this race of following Jesus. And so as we see these new men and women wanting to follow the Lord and start this race and commit their whole lives to Christ till death, I think there's a couple of things for us to consider and maybe be moved by their witness and example. And just two main things. The first thing is just, asking ourselves, am I persevering in my own race, right? My own race of following the Lord. When one runs a marathon or a half marathon, there's this called walls that one hits, especially towards the end of the race. There can be physical walls, right? Your body starts getting really tired, or mental walls where you kind of begin to believe, oh, I can't finish, I can't do this, this is too difficult. And so there's this temptation as you get so close to finishing the race of saying, I'm done, I'm not going to finish the marathon, right? And perhaps it's something similar that can happen in the Christian life, There's different kinds of walls that we can hit as we try to follow the Lord, because as I said before, well, it's so beautiful to follow the Lord, it's also difficult. Right? It entails crosses, it entails the cross to follow the crucified one. So sometimes we kind of have to recommit, right? This isn't saying, yeah, this is hard, but I'm just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I'm going to persevere in following the Lord whom I love and who loves me. Now, as we do this recommitment, of course, it's not just a matter of just self-will and saying, I'm going to do it and kind of white-knuckling it, but it's, of course, clinging to Jesus and asking for his help, because we actually can't finish the Christian race just by our own strength. We actually need the Lord's help. And so similarly to how our catechumens are asking for prayer today that they may enter this race and finish it, so it's a good moment for us to ask, am I persevering in the race? If I see myself hitting a wall, or perhaps that I've kind of stopped running for a little bit and I'm just kind of took a left turn out of the race, that I ask the Lord to help me, give me the grace to recommit and help me kind of pass these walls that I'm maybe hitting. The second thing to consider, the second and last thing to consider as we see our catechumens do this scrutiny is, am I running this race kind of alone, or am I doing it in community with others? Am I really doing this race alone, or am I doing it in community with others? You know, when you run a marathon, one of the cool things about a marathon is that there's like a special energy, right? It's not the same to just go run by yourself versus when you actually sign up for a race, because there's tons of people who are running with you. And then there's also tons of people in the silence, like a lot of family usually comes and cheers you on that you may be able to finish. Sometimes they even have like music going on, like to pump you up so you can, again, persevere. There's snacks. There's this whole community, right, cheering the runners so they may continue in the race. And this makes it so much easier to actually finish the race, right? Because you have this support. You're not doing this by yourself. Often people also have like a running buddy, right? And they're running together. And maybe one's more experienced than the other, and as you start maybe hitting a wall, the other one says, hey, no, you can do this. We already did almost the whole race last week. Like, you got this. Let's go. Here's some water, kind of thing, right? It's done in community, and that makes it so much easier. On the Christian life, we need each other. And it's part of the reason why, for example, the scrutinies, we don't do them just privately. We do them as a community. So the whole community supports the catechumens in prayer, right? They don't do it by themselves. But kind of as we do this, we do ponder, how am I running my race? It's easy sometimes as we follow the Lord to just do our own thing. I want to follow the Lord, and if other people don't follow him, great. And if people don't help me, I don't care. I'm just going to follow the Lord. That's not the way we're supposed to run in our race of being Christians. We're supposed to be looking around and seeing, is there others who need my encouragement in running this race? And if so, I need to stop and help them, right? And also need to allow others to help me, which means I need to be sharing where I'm at. If I'm having difficulties, I need to share with others, hey, this race is becoming hard, so that others can indeed cheer me on. Have I become a loner Christian, or am I running with others? Today we pray for the Lord to help us in our walls, to go persevere through them, and also we just acknowledge that we need to run with others, and we try to make changes in order to do so.